Good morning. How is everyone today? My kitty is saying good morning too because she's being a pain in my booty. So, as you can tell by the title, it's coffee or tea or wine, whatever you do. It is a Friday, the end of the week. And my daughter decided that she was going to run a fever today, so she's home. I have brushed my hair, but as you can see, there's little triddles because my daughter has cut my hair. This was months ago. It is still trying to grow back. So we are going to sit and we're going to talk and we're going to have oracle and learn about the gods because we have just finished the goddesses. I had just gotten done doing. Lily, do you mind a little bit? Just gotten done doing Oracle for Facebook. And I'm also watching my Ghost Adventures. It's the very first season. But it's okay because hopefully the new episode comes on today. So crazy day, just crazy day. Crazy morning. I had everything planned on. I could still do her room and the bathroom and the hallway and laundry and the other room. As long as she doesn't go in and out. I have the dog outside because it's 5 o'clock in the morning. He was wanting to bark. And I have a feeling that this little girl is going to go to bed early tonight because she was up at 5 something as well. So, yeah. And I am using Ethne Dawn's Modern Goddess Oracle today. I really felt like today was a goddess day because it is a Friday, and Friday is related to either Frigg or Freya. I think it's Freya. So, in the Norse traditions. So I thought, what a wonderful way of just bringing in the morning with some inspiration, some clarity, a message from a deity. I'll probably do 3 cards, which is the Maiden, Mother, and Crone. And then we'll go into learning about the gods. We are like almost done with that book. Like almost. It's unbelievable how far we have come and since I had bought that book. And it's just amazing. And then I think the next book that we're going to read about is like crystals because I am avidly, slowly getting my collection of crystals together. I have quartz crystals. I have a palm root. I have moss agate with falsified wood. I have the obsidian and my lapis lazuli, which used to be a pendulum, which somehow broke. So I am just using that point to put on my tarot decks, and my other stuff. So, I think we will, after that book, that's the book that we're going to be starting on. And then we will go into detail with the tarot. And you will be learning with me about um, the meanings and whatnot instead of, and this little peaky nail is like really hurting. So, hey, look, my kitty decided to say hi to everyone. Come here. Ladybug. Come here. Where's my little finger? Oh, where's your purring? And of course, everybody knows the Lilybug because she embraces us every morning. Huh. Yeah. That's kind of what way the action is. Oh, baby. But I do think that will be interesting read. Her still trying to be a little hussy. You go bye-bye. Scoot, dude. Scoot. Good girl. It's a really good cat for a calico. Lilybug. Behave yourself. So let's get to it. So first, we're going to embrace the goddess before I get out the deck. And we do this by the evocation of the goddess. Where is my evocation up? Well, I should write it down. Oracle. Spreads. Goddess. Where did it go? Okay. Here we go. So this is the evocation of the goddess. I call to you, great goddess, maiden of fertility and abundance, mother of all of life, crone of magic and mystery, enchantress of wisdom. She who breaks the binds, who eliminates the night with bright sparks and transforming fire. She who heals and comforts with the wisdom of plants or the elements and the seasons in the rhythm of our bodies. She who has been persecuted for her knowledge and bravery, but has stepped out from the shadows stronger and more confident. She who stands with all women, she who has 1,000 names, she who has no name, but an energy that ties us all. I call into you, to me, call into you, to you, divine one, eternal, ancient, modern goddess. Okay. And from Spirit, I'm getting the ringing of the ear again. First, it was tingling sensations. Now it's this. So I know today is definitely a goddess day. This is the maiden, mother, and crone spread. My daughter is watching her show Adley. That's what you hear in the background. Persephone is our first card. And she is the daughter of Demeter. She is the consort to Hades. And she is the reason why we have our cold seasons, because of a wonderful Hades. Persephone. Key word here is adaptability. The symbols are this: the bat, the pomegranates, and the white lily. And it is funny because the white lily, the lily itself is associated with my birth flower in May. So the affirmation we have today is: I adapt to life's unexpected circumstances. Meet the goddess. Persephone is a Greek goddess and queen of the underworld. She is also the goddess of spring, growth, while she lives half of the year in the underworld with her husband Hades. Her annual return brings spring with blooming flowers and wheat. Being both the goddess of the spring and queen of the underworld is quite a contradiction that requires excellent adaptability. Despite the challenge of living in two worlds, she has risen to the challenge and has become a formidable goddess of the afterlife. You are going through a period of adjustment right now, or find yourself in uncharted waters where you're trying to negotiate your way around and find your footing. You might have to learn some new skills or reach some reserves of knowledge you haven't used for a while. No matter what the situation throws at you, go with the flow and find the opportunities presented to you. Everything changes, but you decide how you are going to respond. Persephone reminds us that adaptability is indeed a superpower. Work with Persephone. Look at how you can make the best out of your situation, no matter how it unfolds. Take this opportunity to rebirth certain aspects of yourself and claim your power. Pay reverence to Persephone and add pomegranate seeds to your next meal. I think I'll do the on some pomegranate seeds. Or have like a dressing that has pomegranate in it. That would be cool. And that is card 1. The maiden. What is growing? So, kind of befitting because we're into the spring and summer season, which is when Persephone, like I said, when Persephone comes back from the underworld. And so it's just reminding us that everything is constantly changing. We need to adapt to it. Things never stay the same. Through this huge pandemic that we have had, in the past and still are having. The key thing here is to adapt and know, even though things will get back to progressing and moving forward and everything, this is a changing time. This is a time where we should have spent it on reconnecting with our loved ones and taking time for ourselves and taking care of the little things in life that we took for granted, and not take those things for granted anymore as a and this social, I strongly agree with Colette Barons Reed when she was talking about the whole pandemic thing, and she was mentioning about social distancing, that we are not meant to social distance ourselves. We should have grown together and came together as a community, as a whole, and instead we listen to this social distancing, and we fell apart from the big huge understanding of what this virus was trying to say. And I've been saying it all along since the beginning of this virus, when it first started. I said, this is nature saying enough is enough. The universe is telling us, it has been showing us synchronicities, it's been showing us signs that the way we were going was not enough. It wasn't doing anything. It was creating more havoc and destruction than creation. And you've got to have that balance. You can't just have the destructiveness of things. These wars that we were having, the hatred that everyone was doing. I mean, there was no unity. There was only separation. And so this virus came to be, whether it was by man-made or whether it was nature-made. It was basically saying, I am not your enemy. I am just here to remind you to honor yourself and the loved ones you have in your life, and remember that it is important to have family and to take time out. And we completely just blew this out of the water in the proportion of what it was supposed to be. And instead, we lived in fear. People quit working because of this, because they were so scared. And so Persephone is saying, remember, everything doesn't ever stay the same. Everything changes. You need to go with the flow, adapt to your surroundings, adapt to new ideas, and remember to honor that part of her, that she is the goddess of spring and summer, and that way we can be grateful for the other seasons when she is not with her mother, which is Demeter. So this is what she is saying. She is saying, remember, everything changes. How we perceive it and how we take it upon ourselves and how we adapt is all up to us. So how to work with her is look at how you can make the best out of your situations, no matter how it unfolds. Take this opportunity to reverse certain aspects of yourself and claim your power. Pay reference to Persephone and add pomegranate seeds to your next meal. All right. Which one wants to present itself to? Or is the mother? The mother is what is growing. So, no, that was what is growing, which is kind of befitting because we are, like I said, into summer and spring. Okay, not all at once. Oh, the healer. This is an archetype. And this is the mother. So this is what is growing. So as you can see, keyword here is going to be healing. Yep, I was right. Healing. Symbols are healing herbs, nature, bare feet on the ground. Affirmation is I deserve to be healthy, thriving, and happy. Meet the archetype. Our healer is in her favorite place, her herb garden. She loves tending the various plants so she can use their magics and medicine when needed. She also finds the very act of tending to her garden healing in itself. She has a deep connection to her body and needs, strengthening her ability to connect and heal others. She is aware of how many different healing modalities can work to soothe and prepare people's minds, bodies, and souls, and know that healing is not a linear process. All wounds, illnesses, and diseases take different times and methods to heal. The healer touches leaves, people, and places better than when she found them. Definition is this. No more excuses. It's time to heal. You are being called out by your inner self, guides, and the universe to do what needs to be done for yourself. No more hiding. You have likely been putting other people first and not making yourself a priority. Now your tank is running on empty. Make your healing a priority. Incorporate it in your routine before you find yourself too burnt out, sick, or bedridden. If you aren't sure where to start, it is time to consult a healing professional, doctor, mental health professional, shaman, naturopathic doctor, or whatever works best for you to get you on the way. Working with the healer. Schedule time off every week and stick to it. Drink herbal teas. Always research the herbs without any sugar and drink plenty of water during the day. Find a healing buddy to help you stay on track and carry out a healing spell to cement your commitment to healing to the universe. And that is what's growing. Running low. Hopefully, my card will come in today. And be watching out for. I don't know when my package is going to be here, but there is going to be an unboxing. I don't know if I'm going to do it live or what. So, it will be a first impression, it will be an unboxing, and it will be a reveal. And I'll definitely give my opinion on if I like it. And if I like it, I might stick with that one, or I might just, if I don't like it, I'll go with a different one. I have yet to figure that one out yet. But both my crystals and this one is on a 6-month plan, so I'll just right now stick with that because I don't have to pay for anything for 6 months. And I like that I can do a 6-month plan and not have to worry about it for 6 months as if I do it for like every month. It comes out every month. All right. Let's see. Our third card is the Crone, and it is what is waning. Oh, we have the fairy again. So this card is all about play, connecting with your inner child. If you have children around, spend time with them. Make a fortress out of cushions. Get connected with nature. Go for walks. Have some really good time to play. And that is what is waning. So here we have to be adaptable and to really pay attention to your body. If you've been putting things off health-wise, start doing that. Pay attention to the signs that your body is giving you. Self-care is very important here in the mother aspect. You need to, it is crucial that you do take time to set healthy boundaries for yourself. And the last card is all about really connecting with your inner child and being playful, having that time to enjoy the lighter side of life. It is a reminder that okay, while work is really good and whatnot, you really need to take time to have fun and just really play. Um, we have to connect to our inner child because that inner child could be screaming at us that they need attention. And if we don't listen to that, we create a very big, huge imbalance in ourselves. And we become really not a happy person because, I mean, we're constantly working and we don't have time for ourselves. We're not enjoying life. We're not stopping to smell the roses. Um, and so that's why the fairy is coming into reading for everyone, that it is really time to just dig deep into the root of everything and make that time for playfulness and to connect to that inner child of ourselves and whatnot. Very good reading. Very good reading. So, I always say we can't have one without the other. A lot of people get so wrapped up in just one aspect, whether it's work, whether it's spiritual, whether it's taking care of other people, um, getting caught up in the woes of everything changing and forgetting that everything's always changing and we need to adapt. So, very good. Although to the earning. I don't know if today's going to be sunny or not, but I think we're going to seriously go to the store today and get things for a picnic, and we're going to go to the park and we're going to take the dog with us and we're going to have fun. Even though she was sick this morning, she just had a bit of a fever. But she's doing really good. I mean, I can tell she's still not feeling well because she's usually up running around and doing whatnot, so she must not really been feeling good. Because she's usually jumping on the bed. All right. Next. Mama. Huh, baby? You're a mama. I'm a what, mama? You're a mama. I'm a mama. You're so funny. He loves it. Alrighty. Gods and Heroes is our next part, and it's part 3 of Spirits of the Celtic Gods and Goddesses, the history, magical powers, and healing energies. And it is by Carl McCollum and Catherine Hinz. So if you want to look, I got this book at Barnes. I got it at Barnes and Noble. Yeah, I got it at Barnes and Noble. So we go into the first one is my male deity, Cernunnos. Cernunnos is widely known today as the horned god, worshipped in many Wiccan traditions. Cernunnos, in fact, means horned one. In Gaulish, in images of a god with horns and antlers have been found in many parts of the Celtic world, especially Gaul. For the most part, however, these images do not include the god's name or names. A single relief from Paris records records the name or the title Cernunnos. Beneath the inscription is an image of the god as a mature, bearded man with deer's ears and antlers. Hanging on each antler is a torque, a neck ring typically worn by Celtic men and women of high status. It has become common practice to refer to all otherwise unnamed antlered Celtic gods as Cernunnos. For even though these deities may have been referred to differently among the various tribes that worship them, it seems clear that they all shared these same divine attributes. The oldest depiction of Cernunnos comes from northern Italy, an area once thickly settled by Celts. This image is a rock carving probably made in the 4th century BCE. It shows an antlered male wearing a long robe and a torque on each arm. Accompanying him are a ram horned snake and a small man with erect genitalia. This imagery makes it clear that virtually vitality and fertility were among the gods' concerns. The ram horned snake is also associated with these qualities, and addition symbolized the underworld and the power of regeneration. Cernunnos was frequently depicted with torques and a ram horned snake, most famously on the Gonstrop cauldron. This silver ritual bowl, about 14 inches high and 25.5 inches in diameter, was made in the 1st century BCE, probably by Thracian silversmith working for Celtic patrons. In a scene on the cauldron's inner surface, Cernunnos sits cross-legged, wearing one torque and holding another. With his left hand, he grasps a ram-horned snake. Immediately to his right is a stag, with whom he is clearly identified. Stag and god have identical antlers. Other animals accompany them, interspersed with styled leafy plants. Here Cernunnos appears very much as a lord of the beasts, a god of wild nature. Both these images of Cernunnos date to before the Roman invasions of Celtic territory. Such pre-Roman depictions of Celtic deities are quite rare. After the Roman conquest, however, Roman sculpture techniques were adopted and adapted, and the stone reliefs and statues of goddesses and gods clearly show the influence of the Greco-Roman artistic traditions. But in the 50 plus known images of Cernunnos produced during the Roman period, many of them from northeastern Gaul, the god's native Celtic attributes stand out. Along with the torques and the ram horn snakes, the god's usual posture is distinctly Celtic. He is generally portrayed squatting or sitting cross-legged, as the Greco-Roman gods were not. According to several classic authors, the Celts and Gauls typically sat or squatted on the ground. They did not use chairs. It may be then that Cyrano's posture is meant to reflect a kind of commonality with his worshippers. The torque that Cyrano's often holds could indicate the abundance and prosperity that he provides. This aspect of the god appears very clearly in some of the Roman period sculptures. For instance, in a relief from Reims, France, he has a large bag in his lap. Out of it pours coins, and on either side of the cascade stands a bull and a stag. A platform sinister in Britain shows Cyrano's with what appears to be open purses in each side of him. Below his antlers in each hand, he holds a ram horn snake. All these images of Cyrano's together give the impression of a beneficent and powerful deity, who seems to be equally at home among humans and animals. In fact, in himself, he forms a link between those two worlds. In the same time, he has affinities with the underworld or otherworld, connecting him with both death and regeneration. And he is a giver of wealth, whether in the form of abundant gain, cattle, or money. Julius Caesar wrote, "The Celts of Gaul believe themselves to be descended from this Pater, the Roman name for the Lord of Death and the underworld, who was also the source of all abundance." It may well be that the god Caesar had in mind was none other than Cyrano's. Root as Cyrano's is closely associated with cattle, but not in a positive way. There is an old tale goes that Hearn the hunter, sometimes a keeper here in Windsor Forest, does all the winter time at still midnight walk round about an oak with great ragged horns, and there he blasts the trees and takes the cattle and makes a milch kine yield blood and shakes a chain in a most hideous and dreadful manner. A similar figure in Welsh lore is Gwyn ap Nudd in Colwich and Olin. He is a renowned huntsman who has authority in Onwin. Medieval poetry depicts him as a spirit who lurks on battlefields and escorts the dead to the other world. In more recent folklore, he has been regarded as the king of the fairy folk and leader of the wild hunt. Turning back to Mahagany, we meet a deity who may be identified even more closely with Cyrano's. Erlwin, chief of Onwin, at the beginning of the first branch, Hal, lord of the Fade, goes hunting one day with his dogs. He follows a white stag that leads him deeper and deeper into the forest till they reach a clearing that has never been there before. As they arrive on the scene, another pack of hounds, white with red ears, come from the opposite direction and brings down the stag. Hywel drives them off and lets his own dogs feast on the kill. A moment later, into the clearing rides a huntsman, all in gray, on a great gray horse. He chides Powell for dishonorably claiming the prey. That was another's. His and Powell, admitting to his failing, offers to pay the stranger honor price. The huntsman reveals that he is Onwin, chief of Inwin, and demands that he and Powell switch places for a year and a day, at the end of which Powell must do battle with Arwen's enemy, Hefgen, Summerbright. The switch is made, and Arwen even shifts his shape to Powell's and changes Powell's to his. Each goes to govern the other's realm. Powell finds Arwen to be the fairest land imaginable, and Arwen's wife the fairest woman imaginable. But out of honor, he never so much as speaks to Arwen's wife when they are in bed together at night, though he is courteous to her at all other times. At the end of the year and a day, Powell defeats Hafgan in single combat, then returns to the clearing where he first met Altman, the chief of Enwin, restores them each to their own shape, and each returns to his land. Both are pleased to find how well the other has governed in his absence. But Arwen is even more pleased when his wife tells him of Powell's behavior toward her. Arwen rewards Will for his honor and loyalty with a vow of everlasting friendship between Arwen and Defad. As the mark of this friendship, Arwen enriches Defad by the regular gifts that he sends to Powell from Arwen. Bel, for his part, sends Arwen such presents as he thinks will please him. In this story, we see Arwen as a lord of the otherworlds, a master of animals and the hunt, closely linked with the stag, and as an enricher of humanity, all attributes as harmonious. His interaction with Powell and then shows us some of the ways in which we might show devotion to the Hornfin. Above all, we are expected to act with honor, never claiming that which does not belong to us, and always following through on our given word. At the same time, we should be daring, unafraid, to follow the white stag, even though we know it will lead us into the unknown and unexpected. What we encounter in that new clearing in the forest to which the stag leads us will change our lives forever. It will let if we let it. We are given the opportunity to prove ourselves worthy of the gifts of the other world, the true abundance that enriches not just our life, but also the lives of those around us. We will see the presence of the other world and this world in one another, knowing the sacredness of the land where we walk and act with a generosity that honors the source of bounty. So we become friends of the other world in its mighty and generous word. Listen for the horn that summons you to the hunt. Wow. And still, there's just not, I mean, that was just maybe a couple of pages. Yep. Tomorrow will be about Dagda, the consort of the Morgan. My daughter, she is so funny. Oh, it stretched my legs. Crazy little girl. Oh, no. I had to check the temp. My phone didn't ring. Zip fold and repeat. See what today's gonna bring. Right now I'm at 54. Oh yeah, it's gonna be 87 today. Oh man, Monday, Tuesday, it's gonna rain. Tomorrow's gonna be fair though, it's gonna be an 88. I don't think we're gonna go out today. So that was an interesting read about the horn god, which Christians depict him as, I guess, because he is associated with the other world, or the underworld, Lucifer. He is very but yeah, that's them. Anything with horns is considered evil. And I'm not downing Christianity. I grew up in a Christian home, and I read all about the Bible and all this stuff. I used to know it by heart. And I really found that it really wasn't for me. Um, and so when I got out on my own when I was 17, I came into living with a friend of mine, and he was, I guess you would say, pagan. And he led me into a past life regression meditation, and that's where I found out my actual roots were and what I was back then. And it just seems like I've just followed back into that path um, throughout my years. Um, my family really didn't approve of it, and they didn't like it. They considered it evil because it wasn't of their belief and their traditions, and they wanted me to follow in their footsteps. And they really made it hard. I mean, they tried so hard to get me to convert. Even the last time I lived with my dad, and being a spirit keeper and being a medium and having all these abilities and gifts that I do, and him saying, "Oh, this is evil and that is evil, and your gifts are," no one can have those gifts, And I'm like, it was bad. And that's when, before he did what he did, there was one night that I was doing pendulum, and I heard a very strong male calling to me in his house. And that's when Cernunnos came to me into, and I got strongly a connection with this God. And it was like right after that, my father was very rude and very disrespectful, and I had my faults too at it. I could have taken it better and handled it better than I did. But when your child is asleep and you had already been put through the ringer because cops came to do a wellness check, and I was living with him, and he knew that there were food in the house, and it was all because he thought that I was not feeding my daughter, and instead of asking me if she had eaten, he took it upon himself to call the cops, both him and my mom and my sister, and which led to me, my temper was very high, and I was just fed up. Fed up. I had already, that day before all this took place, had made arrangements for my daughter to go with my sister-in-law and me to go into a shelter. And so yeah, this was, I foreseen this coming. Just certain things were not adding up. My intuition, all that time that I was there, was just on the rise. And I was seeing the little signs and I was listening to it, and I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. And so I basically got prepared. And lo and behold, um, that night, uh, he decided he was going to start an argument and fight with me and tell me how to raise my daughter and how to do this and how to do that. And my thing was, they were never really involved in her life when she was growing up. They came into her life when she was 4. And I had flat out had it enough with him. I calmly told him over and over again, now is not the time. Not right now. And he just kept on and on and on. And I was like, so I had it. I was like, okay, let's get into this. Let's delve into this shit. Where were you 4 years ago? Oh, yeah, that's right. You didn't want anything to do with her. You didn't want anything to do with me. And therefore, you and Mom and Kara excommunicated yourself out of our lives. And now, after 4 years, and she has only been around you, I think it wasn't even 2 weeks. It might have been 2 weeks. No, it was 3 weeks. For only 3 weeks out of her life, and you think you have the right to tell me to live my life, how to live my life, how to take care of my daughter, and whatnot? I said, no, it don't work that way. You don't get that right to tell me what to do with my daughter. And he basically said that I had a demon around me and all this kind of stuff, and to get out of his house. So I took my daughter and I walked out and I called the police. Yes, I called the police. And through this whole ordeal, he is telling me, oh, he is going to call CPS on me. And boy, did he ever. They didn't have to tell me who had done it. They go, oh, well, that's confidential. I already knew. And it was it was either a Monday or Tuesday that my brother-in-law came to to pick her up, and CPS came, like, I think it was like right after, like, Memorial Day or something like that. It was some big holiday. And well, they had called first, and I was like, look, this is what's going on. I was kicked out of my house, out of my dad's house, me and my daughter. And I said, I called the cops and they escorted us to the shelter. I said, my daughter is no longer here. She is with my sister-in-law. I said, because I did not want her in a shelter. And they're like, oh, well, we try to keep families together. And I'm like, yeah, well, all good for you, but I would prefer, and this is in my heart what I felt was best for my daughter, is for her to be with her aunt until I can get up on my feet and get going. No, that lasted until a little bit after I moved to Pampa, and I was in a shelter over there. And then I worked and everything. And I came into, it was in January. No, I think it was February. It was January. Probably the last of January that I had moved back to Dumas. And right away I had gotten a job. In fact, I had 2 jobs at the time. I was working at United, and I was working at Pizza Hut. And then I had put in an application with Brahms, and I got that job, and I had to quit Pizza Hut. And so I was working at Brahms during the morning, and I was working at Pizza Hut, not Pizza Hut, but United during the afternoon. And so I was working 2 jobs, and then I had my own place, but it was like too small, and there was no air units, and that was just not working out for me. And then this one came to be that I am in now, and it had central air and heat. It was perfect for me and my daughter. I mean, it was a low income based, and so I had quit United, and I was working full time at Brahms. And then July she got to come home, and it would have been sooner if COVID hadn't hit, but we was dealing with the pandemic and everything was shut down, and it was just a hot mess. And I thought, and I told my sister-in-law, I said, with the pandemic that's going on, I don't want to really for y'all to take that chance to bring her here. So if you can wait until July, so be it. And so we set it for July, and she came home. She's been home ever since. Here it is, going on a year, and it has been the longest and tiresome and stressful year ever. And it's not because, of work or anything. It was dealing with freaking people calling CPS for bullshit, and I prevailed. Like the phoenix rising from the ashes, I too rose. And now, right now, I am going to take a couple of more months to just spend time with my daughter and not have to really worry about work and getting a babysitter and all that kind of stuff, I have it to where, you know, all I have to do is pay my bills. And then, you know, if I feel the need to put in applications, I'll put in applications. But I am liking that I can actually spend the afternoon with her. And I feel like I would have probably kept Brahms if they had put me where I wanted, where I requested. And, you know, it was just things were not working out there. And though I loved my job and I loved the people in it, um, I just was not seeing any progress. While everybody else was getting raises and everything, I had been there freaking for almost a year. It would have been a year in April. And I had not even gotten one raise at all. And I was working 50 plus hours a week. And, you know, you got to eat. So, like, on my breaks, um, I, uh, I had, you used your little card that you had and that came out of your check. And that was like a minus to me because I've never worked in a place where it came out of your check. Even when I worked at the Texas Rose in Pampa, you did get a discount, but you paid for it then. It did not come out of your check. And and they wanted me back, but I was just not really digging it. And and I think right now it's just to spend time with being with my daughter and doing what I love and finding that balance again. And so, yeah, that is just a little bit about what has gone on just, you know, from 2019 to 2020 to now. And I just I feel really drawn to just, you know, share that part of me because you see me doing the readings, you see me doing, you know, this and that, but, you know, to really understand where I'm coming from, just in a spiritual sense and in a mundane sense, what I've been through and why I'm so strong. Um, I've just, I always believe you have to have that spiritual component to make it through the hard times in your life. And and though I've been called evil, I've been called Satan worshiper, I've been called this and that. The good that I do overweighs all of those negative um, feedback, and I say to myself, um, if I am so evil, why am I doing this? I have done so much good for people. I've given them enlightenment. I've done clearings. I've done this. I've done that. If my gifts are truly evil, why were they given to me through the the divine, through the deity, um, and the universe and my spirit guides? If I was not meant to have these gifts, why? And I strongly believe that if you have these gifts, and if you're especially a sensitive and a medium of any level, to ignore these gifts creates so much imbalance in you that it's like, and then you have all these energies and spirits that are so unhappy and unrest, and they're asking for your help. And by ignoring it, you create chaos. So I just wanted to really share that part of of me with y'all, and I'm hoping that whoever sees this, at least this part, if anything, they can have just a little glimpse of hope and to know that everything is going to be okay. Just believe in yourself. To thy own self be true is my motto. To thy own self be true. You don't get wrapped up in other people's dogma. Don't get wrapped up in the hustle and bustle of other. If you are drawn to a different path other than what your family is in, go with that. Go with that. And know that you are on that path for a reason. Um, and just know that everything is going to be okay. It's going to be just fine. You're going to be persecuted. You're going to be shunned. And through this all, you're going to come out at the end like a phoenix. But this is it for now. And I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.